Hey, happy Sunday to you guys out there. Hey, I just want to talk about these two movies. I'm going to do a comparison of both these movies right here, Species and Species 2. Uh, Both these movies are really good. I enjoy one more than I do the other. One came out in 1995 and the other one came out in 1998. Uh, I've read the comments about how this is just as good as the first one. And then I love this one. So I took people's advice, right? So I was like, I always talk about people at work and people I know. Ryan just swore up and down. Like I said, Ryan's like 37 years old, and he was telling me that, man, he said, I can't wait to see, Monday. He said, so I want you to see, what you have to say about Species 2. The same chick that played in Species, the Species One. What I was afraid of when I watched it last night, and there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about how you can watch your physical copies and how it's easy to find something in your apartment or your house, wherever you're living in, when you're collecting physicals, because it's easier to pick something versus, having a streaming service. And the streaming services is cool because, I like Shudder and I like Netflix and I like AMC Plus. I mean, you don't have to keep them all the time because, AMC Plus, you don't have to keep them all the time because, they have certain shows on there that I like to watch. Like From is coming on, you know, September 22nd. And then Shudder just has just a variety of, scary, creepy horror movies that I enjoy. And they got their originals. And plus they're dipping their toes in the, talking about documentaries and stuff like that. So Shudder's pretty slick. But anyway, back to these two movies. So one came out in 1995 and the other one came out in 1998. So I remember watching this movie. I sat down last night. The coolest thing about it was I sat on the couch and I was on my pajamas and I sit there and I kept saying, man, I hope that chick, because a lot of times when you see a girl and she looks really good, you see 2 years later, it's so weird how you catch a girl at her serious prime, because we all had a prime in our life where we was just at that glow, we all had that glow. I remember it so well. I'm not talking about, oh, I'm handsome and all that. I'm just saying that we all had that section when we had that prime, and so when I watched it, when she first came on the scene, I was like, she still looks good. And that was, 1998, 1995, that's 3 years between the first time she was in this movie. And so second movie is they go out to space and they go to Mars and they come back and they changed up some of the characters. Forrest Whitaker, he didn't come back. I don't know why, but Forrest Whitaker, he didn't come back. And then two of the people that was in that movie, they did come back. The woman and the guy, uh, that was in this movie. But they came back for this movie. But it was the original two. They ended up hooking up in a motel. They ended up, having sex or something, and then, he was he was one that really was in charge of the first group, and then she was kind of like a scientist, and they was trying to track down the first species. Well, they're back in this, but that one guy's not in it. And of course, two of the people got killed in this movie. So anyway, I'm watching it, and I enjoyed the movie. I really did. I enjoyed the movie, but this movie had a lot more money pumped in it. It was more of a let's put more of this in there, and let's put more sex in there and stuff like that. So now, if you're into people having a lot of sex, of course, she showed her boobs a lot in there because this girl she was at she was at the top of her A game. When you catch a woman young like that and you throw her in a movie and she doesn't mind showing her body off. The only thing I did like about this movie, they didn't go downstairs too much. I think the boob shots are cool. But I think when you go downstairs, you just show that, it just takes away your imagination. You just can't wait to, if you like doing that kind of stuff. Me, I especially if I know I'm getting ready to score, back in the day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to see this woman's body, man. I felt like I'm going to get the ultimate prize, man, because she's letting you peel her clothes off. So when she just lets you see her boobs, I'm cool with that. And of course, yes, she lets you see the back of her rear end. I'm quite sure she got paid a lot of money to do all that. But she never did let you see her main objective, which is her, in between her legs, or what we all, And I thought that was cool about her when she made these movies. She showed her breasts and she showed her boobs, and I don't even know sometimes that was a. Sometimes when we watch these movies, a lot of times they use stunt doubles and stuff, because some women's like, I don't want to show my body off. But I think she really showed her body off. But anyway, do I like Species 2 just like I like Species 1? No, I do not. This was a brilliant idea. My cousin who passed away, we used to run around when we were kids. We had a lot of fun. He passed away, and he was into collecting movies way before I was. And me and my daughter's mom had moved into this house. Now I'll never forget this story. He always was recording, always recording. I used to walk in, man. I was like, "Dang, man, what you got?" And he turned. I sit down, talk to him. Hey, what's up? And him and Cindy was married, and they had 2 kids, and I miss Daryl. But anyway, me and him used to run around when we were kids and stuff. And then he passed away of sugar diabetes. But me and my daughter's mom moved in this house, and we had to wait on cable to get hooked up. We had to get the phone hooked up and all that. So he said, "Come on over, man." He said, "Get what you want." So me and her mom got a bunch of VHS movies. It was for like 4 days, man. We watched a lot of stuff that he watched, and my daughter's mom, man, she was a good woman. She really was. I was just not at a point in my life where I was just messed up at that point. But she really hung in there, man. She really did. And I remember me and her used to sit and watch those movies that my cousin let us borrow. And I remember I went over his house one day, and I always come in, and his wife Cindy was like, "You want a cup of coffee?" "I know you do." And I was like, "Yep." So they fixed me a cup of coffee, and I'd sit down and talk to them. It's that time I stopped smoking weed, so I was a coffee junkie at that time. And he said, "Have you watched Species, man?" I said, "Nah, man." I said, "I went by the drive-in." That's when drive-in was still big. It was VHS. And I said, "Nah, man." I said, I heard about it. I seen it going past the drive-in, because at that time, man, I was, it seemed like, not now, but it seemed like, man, it's just like I was just, the women was just all over the place. Now it's just like, and I said, "Man, I remember going by the drive and seeing that, man. It looked pretty good." But I said, "I never." He said, "Oh, man, it's pretty good, So I sat down. He had it on VHS, and I watched it. I was like, "Wow, man, this movie's pretty good." And I can't understand why he didn't have it on DVD, but I think DVDs was really starting to come in its own. But I look at this. This says 1995, so I'm not quite sure, when the DVDs and all that. But all I know is he had it on VHS. But anyway, I watched this with him, and I fell in love with this man. I said, "Man, I kept telling him, I said, "Man, that's a good movie, And so I got it myself, and then I ended up falling in love with it. But somehow, some way, do you know that back in 2011, because I went through a real bad breakup with my very last girlfriend. I had to move everything in storage, and I was in my 50s, and I had to move with these people way out in the country, in this country town, and they let me stay there for practically free, so I can get back on my feet. And the craziest thing is, I remember going at storage every now and then, checking my storage, and kept saying, "Man, I can't wait till I get back on my feet, save up some money, and get me an apartment," because that breakup took me down. So I had all these boxes of movies, and I give them to this guy that had a thrift store. I give away it was tons. And then lo and behold, I turned around and I almost recollected every one of those movies. Just goes to show you, man, don't get rid of your collection, because I don't know if this was in there or not. But anyway, I was talking to Ryan. I was like, I can't believe I don't have Species. So I got Species. And this is another thing I was telling you guys about, how you need to shut everything off. I don't have social media. And so I was reading Bible scriptures. You guys know that. I say that in a lot of my videos. I must stand on my faith. So there's articles about, and then I get on my phone, and my phone has these things about nutrition, how to live a simple life, has 8 simple things to this, or eight things you can know if this person's introvert, or whatever. And a lot of those articles are pretty interesting. Well, they had this one article about, and I read this thing, Bible scriptures, and it said something about shutting stuff down for an hour, just sit in total silence. And I said, I'm gonna try that. Now you probably wonder, what the hell's that got to do with these physical copies? Well, the physical copies is not connected to the internet at all. When I go and watch these, I just literally go through my all my movies here, and I could pick something out. It's not near as hard as scrolling on the streaming services. But what kills me about streaming services, I can honestly say, I don't know if I don't not like them at all or not. I feel like when I'm like relaxed and I'm just like chilling, and I have, like, I got YouTube TV for football. And I don't even watch football that much because I used to be a football fanatic, and I literally prayed to God to step away from football and sports because I was getting emotionally into it. And what sucks, I wasn't even into football. I wasn't into sports at all. I was one of those dorky farm kids that live out in the country, and I lost a bunch of weight. I studied martial arts. I didn't study martial arts to kick somebody's butt. I just wanted to get in shape. Because I'm just a realist. You're gonna always find somebody faster, smarter, stronger, and can just literally beat your ass. You know what I mean? So, I got in a few fights. They were okay, but then after a while, I was like, man, I just want to get along with everybody, man. I want to smoke some weed and party, and that's how I was. I was always smoking weed. I was going over to people's houses. I was always chilling. I was always playing basketball, throwing frisbee, because you got to understand, I was graduating in 1978. So that shows you about the age group. It shows you about what we did back in the day. We had to go to parks. We played frisbee. It was very creative back then. Well, now you just got everything access to you. We're so wired up to the internet. So when I watched this last night, I watched this last week because I got it from Amazon, and I got this just this week. I ain't gonna lie, this is way better than this. But a lot of people like this one more because I guess you see more skin. As much as I like having sex, which I don't, I like the surprise element of a girl. When I know I'm about ready to score, and I'm going to actually see what she looks like fully unclothed, because I like to take my good old time, because I'm like, you're showing me something that's sacred as far as I'm concerned. Now, a lot of people in today's society, they don't give a shit. Oh, I see one naked girl, what big difference make, but it does make a big difference to me, because I'm like, shoot, man, you walking on some sacred ground, man. You let me have the access to this body, so I always was thrilled with that. And I think most men are. But this it's just too much skin. The tagline is mating season began. That's exactly what it is. This time they focus on a guy, real good looking guy, and he got, infected, and he's going around impregnating all these women, and he has a bunch of boys. So you have to have a bunch of boys in order to spread. This alien wants to spread the seed faster, but you can only spread it quickly through boys, because they can get girls pregnant or something like that. If you're a girl, you have to try to find, I don't know why they went into the boy category with this. This one was a girl category, but they never have girls. They just have boys. Because I guess you could multiply. And it had a nice story, don't get me wrong. It had a nice story. The cast was okay and all that. I don't know, man. I just like this. I just don't like this one near as much as I like this one. This one just flipping it and I'm glad that I bought this one, and I'm glad that I got this. It's a nice little follow-up. I am not getting 3. I heard 3 is just horrible. It will not go in my collection. Last but not least, which one do I like? Well, I prefer this one more. I like this one, and I'm glad I got the purchase. And I understand, I think they upped the production value on this. But I don't know, man. This was just got a great story. So anyway, that's my remakes and comparisons. I'm just comparing 2 movies. That is 1 and 2. That's it. And that's another thing that I have to say that I like about collecting physical copies, man. And another thing, I don't get that many views, but I know that I have to put these videos out there so I can reach people eventually. But what I'm telling you is sometimes chill out, just chill. Sit in your house, man, for just 10 to 15 minutes in the dark. Or just sit down and just sit down for 15 minutes and don't have nothing on. Trust me, it makes a big difference. I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 days. I came home after work and I literally didn't turn on the TV at all for at least a couple hours. I did some housework. I always do housework, and I get restless when I sit down. And I know now why I collect physical copies, because I enjoy them, one. And when you go out and buy physical copies, don't buy anything that you ain't gonna watch. Like guy was talking about, I wanted the movie Riddick. I wanted the movie Pitch Black. But Ryan was like, "Oh, you should watch the Riddick, the Chronicles of Riddick." I told him, I said, "Man, I tried to look at that stuff. I said, I just couldn't get into it." He was trying to convince me and stuff. So he said, "Oh, if you're gonna order, just order the box set." You know what I did? I went home and I just ordered the 4K of Pitch Black, because I remember going to Pitch Black to go see a movie, going to see that movie with a friend of mine that I don't hang out no more with. His name was Tony. And we drove an old car that I owned, and I was worried about that thing breaking down. That car drove down there and back. He's like, he's younger than me anyway. He goes, "Man, I'll go down there with you," because Tony's got to be maybe 44 or something. And he said, "I'll drive down there." So, he worked out like me. He was just younger. And he drove that car down there and back. We went and seen Pitch Black. So I got Pitch Black. I didn't get the box set of the Chronicles of Riddick because I just never got into them. I haven't had people tell me, "Oh, I can't believe you don't like that." Look, it's not the fact that the movie's not any good. It's just the fact I just don't do nothing for me. I was like, yeah, the production value's up there. Yeah, I see all the monsters, the creatures. And Ryan was just trying to get me to. I got home, man, and I said, yeah, I went home and I ordered this. And I went and ordered Pitch Black. I ain't watched it yet. But the thing about, shutting down and disconnecting yourself from stuff is that when you decide to chill out at night, I can go over there and look at any one of these shows. It won't take me very long, to, find something I want to watch most of the time. Sometimes I don't want to watch nothing, because the thing about streaming services and live TV is sometimes they do have something on there that catches your attention. And you damn sure enough ain't going to get it on no physical copy. You just ain't. That's benefits of having some of these streaming services. I'm not going to be able to get From on DVD yet. Now, here's how I think I'll get From. Let's just say hypothetically, 5 or 6 years from now, hopefully I'm still around. Some of you are too. You can't take life for granted. And then From is finally off. It has a season finale maybe next year or something, because we're going into season 3. Maybe they're going to go season 4 and then they're going to shut it off. Maybe 2 years later, they'll offer it as a box set, then you can buy it. That might be the only way you can get it. Or MGM Plus could just be like, we're never going to put that on physical, because you can need it just, if you want to watch it, we're going to keep content on our streaming site so you can watch it. So I really can't say I blame them, because there's so many things on Netflix that I like, and they got a lot of junk too. But like I said, they got a lot of bangers too. They won't sell physical copies off of Netflix. Netflix like, no, man, you want to watch that, you want to stay on our site. And so I got my food in the oven. That's why that beef's going off. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Let me ask you, what do you think? Do you like Species 1 or Species 2? I like Species 1. When it says mating season begin, it's exactly that. It's not a bad movie. Not at all. But I was surprised, man, because 3 years later, she still holds her own. She had a really good look about her, and but this one, man, I just like, man, this was really good. So anyway, you guys, God bless, take care. I'm going to drop a video about me playing Astrobot, maybe. I don't know when, but I want to try to show you guys me open it up, pause it, show me inserting it, and then I'll pause it and I'll keep flipping because I don't know how to do all those cuts and stuff. So anyway, happy Sunday, enjoy your day, and thanks for watching.